shows with business owners that puts them in front of a global audience. And in behind those shows is a whole range of things, from digital magazines to social media to blogging to email to lead generation, just a whole range of things. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Everyday Business Show. I'm your host, Tony Lontis, and we have another phenomenal guest to talk to you about. There's so many things that we need to talk about today. I'm not sure we're going to get them all into one segment, but before we get on with the show, if you're listening to this broadcast live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or the Everyday Women's Network, please send us a message. We love to know what you think about our interviews. We appreciate you listening, and I think it's a privilege that I get to talk to amazing humans across the planet most days of the week. Now, each and every week, we do a special part that is uniquely Australian, and it's called our Welcome to Country. Today, I want to respectfully acknowledge the people of the Yugambeh language region on the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and broadcast. And I want to pay my respects to the elders past and present and those that are emerging, and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who might be watching or listening to this show today. We value your input into Australia's cultural identity, and we are thankful that you were here first. Now, our wonderful guest today is a phenomenal individual called Joshua T. Berglan. And here's what you need to know about Josh. He calls himself the world's mayor, and for good reason. Joshua T. Berglan is known as the world's mayor. He is a renowned media personality, producer, filmmaker, and show host with a heart for the voiceless and a passion for media. Joshua is committed to elevating the purpose and mission of all of those people that he serves. He's an expert in the future of media and just works with individuals from all walks of life, but he is particularly driven to help those that have experienced similar struggles to his own. To this end, he merged his private business with his former non-profit media organization, offering a buy one, give one program on all of his services. This initiative enables him to provide media services, equipment, and education to inner city youth and people in recovery, the mentally ill, and those who lack financial means to access these vital resources. Joshua is the host of multiple broadcasts which are distributed worldwide through his groundbreaking and exclusive media company In a Box. His broadcasts cover a broad range of topics, including media, faith, new media, sexuality, HIV, mental health, addiction, the occult, relationships, conspiracy, civil rights issues, and interviews with fascinating people. Despite covering these diverse topics, Joshua's core message remains and is consistent: truth, hope, and inspiration. Joshua is also an accomplished author with his true story, The Devil Inside Me, becoming a #1 international bestseller. Joshua, welcome to the show. I'm so delighted to chat to you today.
I'm exhausted after listening to my bio. That was exhausting. Anyway, I am so honored to be here. Thank you so much.
I have been looking forward to this. And as we chatted before the interview, Josh reminded me that it's probably been 6 months since we booked this, which is
It's been a while.
great, because then I am rejuvenated and refreshed by the conversation that we're about to have today. I wanted to start the show with one of your quotes, and that is, life happens for us, not to us. Josh, this is really special to you. Can you tell us why?
And there's been a lot of really famous people say that statement. It's not my quote.
I know.
But it is a quote that lit me up when I heard it for the first time. I got to interview Ed Milet, who was the first person I'd heard that from.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, it was right at the early stages of my recovery.
Mm.
And a pretty crazy story. But
I've
early
got
on,
to say, Josh, I want to get into that a little bit if you're
yeah,
happy to
sure.
share with the
Oh,
audience
I'm an
in
open
a
book. We can
moment.
talk. We'll
Yeah.
go any direction you want to go. But anyway,
Yeah.
this quote for me at that stage, I've never had a victim mentality, but it's
Mm.
just like, damn, this is hard. Like this, wow, this is the struggle trying to stay on the right path. My
Yeah.
goodness. But
Yeah.
anyway, I heard life happens for us, and then it all of a sudden just goes, you mean all this hell, it all happened
Has a
for like it
purpose.
really made it happen for a reason. Like I believed everything happened for a reason, but this just drove it in my spinal cord. It now is absorbed in my DNA, and this is how I'm going to live from that day forward. That's why that quote matters, is because it's a mantra. Like no matter what freaking happens, and life has thrown me some wild curveballs, my family some wild curveballs, but I know, because one, I believe I serve a loving God, that anyone who's willing to risk it, to follow their heart, to do what they're led to do, anyone who's crazy enough to do what they're led to do, because that gets crazy.
It does.
Anyone who's crazy enough, I believe that God blesses those people because they're in action, they're in motion, and they're trying. Like, yeah, you're going to screw up. Yeah, you're going to make a mistake. You're definitely not going to be perfect. I don't care what religion you follow. You're going to suck at it. You're going to suck at that rule book. You're going to suck at it. But you got to keep moving forward. And I believe that God blesses those people that don't give up. And I know I'm one of those people. But that quote is something that when I'm starting to feel sorry for myself, I just re-trigger my brain to go,
Yeah.
life happens for me, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Joshua, can you share with the audience a little bit about that journey and that struggle?
Okay. I'm going to give the quickest version because I don't resonate with this person at all anymore. And it's really weird to talk about it because it was
Yes.
a lifetime ago. Because I'm recovered, I'm healed, and I'm happy. And I have an amazing marriage and amazing kids, and I'm living the life of my dreams. So it's the devil inside me. Holy crap, that I did all that? Really? Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's why it's been so hard to get to this place.
Mm.
When I was really young, I was 7 years old, and everything started with my sisters disappearing. Like I literally thought it was something I did. I thought they didn't love me anymore, but they were gone, and I didn't know what happened. And right after that, I was molested by two guys, and then molested by a female babysitter. The molestation, the physical abuse. I'm a product of all that, and I will say that if what I would rather harp on is this. When I was young and that stuff was happening to me, like even though I believe I attracted a little bit of that in my life, I know that sounds crazy, but I believe that said, I believe also that that in that moment, I was so like I was afraid to tell the truth. I was afraid to talk about it. I was afraid to share this craziness inside of my head because I was worried about what would happen to me. I had the fear of we're going to beat your ass if you say anything. And then also I'm hearing in church, if you're gay, you're going to hell. And I don't know where to go and I don't know who to talk to. And I'm 7 years old. I'm 7 years old and I don't know what to do. So I learn to lie. And slowly but surely, all of that just turned out into be a really ugly thing where I'm living this lie. I'm having all of these night terrors. I'm having these nightmares about what had happened to me. I'm confused with what's going on with me, with my own desires, not knowing if I'm bisexual, I'm straight, I'm not knowing any of this. And I'm having nightmares about being raped. And yet at the same time, these daydreams of, wow, that was fun actually too. Mind up. Anyway, so I would get into these relationships, and the more attracted I became to the women I was with, the more I wanted men. Can't explain this at all. Again, night terrors, crazy. Anyway, I get old enough to try cocaine for the first time.
Uh-huh.
The nightmares immediately became fantasies. And so my drug use started full steam ahead because I was doing all the drugs I could do, all the drugs I could afford, and anything I could get in front of me, I was doing. And here's why, because it made the sex that I wanted to have also not scary. And I wasn't afraid to express myself. And so the drugs became this safe shelter for me. So pretty early on, I think it's unfair to say I was a chemsex addict for 20 years, but essentially I was addicted mentally already from the very first time I did cocaine, because
Yes.
I literally got to have an orgy at that
Yeah.
same time because the
Yeah.
cocaine turned to ecstasy and ketamine. So anyway, my life at that point was just sex and drugs, and now going from the abused to becoming some type of abuser myself, whether it was
Which we
verbally.
have to remind the audience is the most frequently taken path for children who are abused. So, what Joshua is saying is not abnormal. In fact, most experts would tell you that this is expected and anticipated behavior for a traumatized child.
I I became a legitimate monster because
Mhm.
I'm still fearful of I was so codependent, for one. So don't leave me, don't leave me. But then I would, be the
I know
first one to
it.
break up. I would be the one to cheat. I would be the one, no, don't leave me, don't leave me. And then I would do something abusive, whether it started verbal and then it gets more aggressive. And then the bigger the lie, the more to cover up, the more strung out on drugs, the worse the violence. I've been in jail 6 times.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to like it all. It's just, I don't want to glorify the stuff that I did, because here's the real issue at hand.
Mm.
I learned to lie,
Yeah. Yeah.
because if I ever felt safe to tell the truth, I mean, my freaking guidance counselor in elementary school, when I said I was acting out just
Mm.
uncontrollably because I was angry and confused and people were calling me a faggot, and I didn't even know what it meant yet.
Yes.
What is awful. But my guidance counselor told me it was normal for boys to experience what I had experienced. And I'm thinking, so everyone gets pumped in the like this. I'm
Oh,
7. So I'm performing oral sex. I'm having double penetration the first time I have sex. And look, don't even know what's going on. So that's normal. Okay. So even more of a mind F, because then I go to church and then I'm being told I'm going to hell.
yeah.
It's all screwed up. But again, here's the thing. It all gets down to this. This is the only thing that really matters in this world, and yet we have the fewest supply of it, and that is absolute truth. True, our truth is what's true to us, but that may change over time as we see different
Yeah.
perspectives grow as
Yeah.
we evolve. But you at least have to be true to yourself to walk out the very thing that may not even be your path, but at least you'll know it. So if I could have just been honest about being bisexual a long time ago, I would have saved myself of HIV. I would have saved myself from multiple divorces, broken homes, abuse, jail visits, loss of business, being homeless, being a drug addict. If I could have just been freaking honest, but I was so afraid of the preacher man, so afraid of God, that God wasn't going to love me because I may like dudes too, and may even like transsexuals at the same time. It doesn't freaking matter because so stupid. And we get so judgy over crap. And
Don't
yet,
we?
look at our own stuff. My God, I am so flawed as a human being. I'm still so flawed. I have a heart for God that will never change. I would not be here without God's redemption power. I promise you. But I got to tell you something. You religious people suck. You suck. You're awful.
Amen to
You
that.
make the planet awful for everyone because you think that you are the rule book holder.
And
No,
you're
you're
not.
not. And your rule book has 20,000 contradictions in it, 20,000 proven contradictions. And I know 20,000, I can prove it. Do it. And I'm a former evangelist. Listen, I love God, but I'm
But
watching.
religion is such an
It's
issue,
so
Josh.
bad. I get so fired up about this because I see people
Diabolically
killing
bad.
themselves. There's people killing themselves every day because they are hurting, because they are afraid to let people see who they are. And what happens when you suppress who you really are? It comes out really freaking ugly and a little crazy and a little wacky because they didn't feel safe to come out of the womb and, hey, I'm not going to get attacked and murdered. Imagine a baby. Imagine you coming out of your mom's vagina. Okay. You're a brand new baby. You're locked in here and you're sitting there going, oh my God, if I come out, they're going to make fun of me and they're going to say I have a big ass and I'm weird and my eyes are close together and I got a unibrow. Oh, if you came out of the womb like that,
Mm.
How would you feel? Imagine yourself in junior high and high school, and you're just a little bit awkward and a little bit dorky, and maybe you want to be in the band, but you're afraid you're going to get made fun of because you're going to be called a band dork. Anyway, the point is that we don't make it safe for people to be themselves.
Different. Yeah.
And yeah, you should be able to say, I don't give an F what you think about me, but guess what? We really do care what people think because we want to be loved because we're human beings and God
We're
created us to
programmed.
love and be loved. But you can't be loved if you can't be yourself. So freaking be nicer to people. Put your religious bullcrap aside. Put your politics aside and be a fucking human being. Sorry, pardon my language, but be a human being.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Be a
Sorry,
human
I'm worked
being.
up about this today, and I apologize for unloading on you, but I'm really fired up about this today.
Actually think that we need to hear from more men going, the religious constraints, the patriarchy that is in play due to religion has not served the world at all in any shape, way, or form. And we need to change that. And the change needs to happen now. Look where we are. Look at the world. Look at the politics. Look at the leadership. Things need to change, don't they, Josh?
We absolutely need to change. And that's, you know what? Here's the thing. Don't even listen to me. Listen to this.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of crap and you're drunk and you're strung out on drugs. Don't listen to this because you're not going to hear that.
No.
You got some
But
issues.
Joshua,
What?
if they hear, if someone is strung out on drugs or alcohol or has an addiction of any form, that is masking a pain that you haven't dealt with. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was an addict.
Yes. It's masking a pain that you're trying to deal with. And if you just have the courage to unmask it in a safe space, things will change. But that awareness, that trigger that starts you on that path, that has to be something that gets your attention. Joshua, do you remember what that was for you?
Couldn't run anymore.
Mm.
I won't spoil the story and it's a long story, but
Yes, we don't want to spoil the story.
all my other jail stories, I got out within a day. So I wasn't there long enough to feel any pain. Like I'd trade my peanut butter so nothing bad happened to me. I made friends. I was able to survive just fine. But being locked in the psych ward was a whole different experience because there wasn't fun and I wasn't leaving and I was going to be there for 5 years.
Wow.
I had a moment with God that changed everything for me. And it is a wild story that I will not, because I can't tell part of it because it won't even make sense.
Yep,
so it's in the book. It's in the movie. You can watch it. It's actually probably better if you read or watch it than me telling it now, because again, a lot's changed for me, but that was the most powerful. That was the most powerful moment in my life, because here's of all the times that I tried to change, all the times I'm ODing or like I'm in really bad trouble again, or I'm really sick of the drugs or whatever it may be. And I'm like, okay, God, I'll never do it again. And I'm politicking with God and I'm negotiating with God. I never kept one of those promises, but for some reason, when I screamed out, my life is no longer my own. I am done running. Take my life. It's yours. When I said that, everything literally in my life changed. I swear to you, this is the part why the book part matters, but it was hit me at the top of my head, knocked me on my butt and lifted me up like into the sky. And I'm floating and I can't explain it. It was a supernatural experience. I guess I just explained it. It was wild, but that was enough to change everything for me. And the only reason why I know that it was sincere is because now it's been 7 years, but 7 years of consistently living this life and trying to get better, not perfect at all, so far from it, but perfect. Because again, going back to my truth point, the truth has made me free. I'm fearless. I get to live my life exactly the way I want it because I'm willing to be honest about everything about my life. And I have no secrets now. So no one can hold anything over me. So I can go for all of my dreams, which do involve being in front of the camera, which do involve being a little bit in the spotlight. But I want to do all that for the right reasons because I have a very personal mission for the people that I want to help all over the world, Sydney, Australia, is a place in my vision for this, by the way, youth media literacy centers all over the world. Because here's the thing about media, and I'm tying this to business now because you are a business show. In the future, where we are going, actually, it's here now,
Yes.
but we will all be media organizations in the future. You will have to be a media organization to survive the fourth industrial revolution. I know it. I got my very first vision when I was 7. That was right after being molested. Go figure. I didn't understand what it was at the time, but this is my thing. The fourth industrial revolution is what I was created to live in, to thrive in, to soar in, and also to help other people in, because I'm a teacher at heart.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about media because it helps people like me that have dissociative identity disorder that God, and I mean, with the help of God and doing the work, I have healed from. Do I still switch? Yep, a little bit. Maybe I've switched a little bit earlier in this broadcast because I got a little excited. That happens sometimes. But this is just me. This is who I am. And I'm okay being this. I'm okay.
Yes.
But it's all with truth, and all of it set it free. But going back to the media helps people like me, the people that were mentally ill, the people that were cast aside, that were taken for granted. Their talent was looked over because mommy and daddy couldn't write the check. The people that live in the inner cities of the world, that help build those cities, that come from families that help build those cities, but yet they have to live in poverty. Those kids, I want to help those kids have another way out. And here's the thing, regardless of what you've done in your life, media is the vehicle to making all of your dreams come true, because it gives you the ability to monetize your life, monetize your intellectual property, monetize your pain, monetize your suffering, monetize your mistakes, monetize creative outlets, even if it sucks. So you do it. That's what media does for you.
I'm getting excited when Joshua's talking, because that is the vision that sits behind Everyday Women's Network, is the idea that you don't need to be a celebrity or a big name to have media, and that we should all, and by doing that, we change the perspectives of the world. That's so important. We have a traditional media perspective that permeates the globe at the moment. And the only way that's going to change is by people like Josh and myself that have media companies designed to uplift the voices of people that don't normally have a voice and change perspectives. Perspectives change leadership. Leadership changes the world. Yeah.
You're so right. And what you said about celebrities, here's the good news for some people. The days of mega celebrity are done. It's never coming back. It will never be this way. Celebrity is more irrelevant than ever. But what you're going to see in the fourth industrial revolution is a different type of celebrity. It's going to be your teachers. It's going to be tribal leaders. Because even though we'll still be a global, like we'll be interacting globally, we will be very much tribal. So there's a book called Neothink. Highly recommend checking this out. It's the Secrets of Life book, interwoven in a children's book. It's this thick. It's 2 times bigger than the Bible. It's amazing. But in that book, and it's so wild for me to see this, because I was meant to see it. I found the book at a swap meet. But it said, in the future, this book's written in the 70s.
Wow.
In the future, the power that lies in the hands of a few will be dispersed into the hands of millions. And it was talking about the media.
Phenomenal.
That is what, but I'm going to give you a practical reason why this is true, though. And this is not to scare people, but I want to emphasize, I've been saying this, people have mocked me for years for saying this, but this is true. You're going to have 2 classes of people in this new world. Yes, there's going to always be the rich out of crazy rich.
Yeah.
But you're going to have 2 classes of people, and that's it. You're going to have the people that have decided to be a media organization, and you're going to have the people that just take universal income and are considered useless eaters. Those are the 2 choices. That's the new world that we're going into. That is what Agenda 2030 is really about. Moving people into smart cities. We are changing, like everything is about to change.
It is. You can feel it. You can feel the change. You can feel the energy changing. And from
awesome.
A women's perspective, that has never been greater than it is at the moment, that change and shift. And it's about rebalancing
It
the
is.
world as we know it, isn't it?
It's absolutely like this is the time for women. Your voices, I personally believe Lilith is the first woman. So you have fun with that story if you don't
What
know
a
about it.
great conversation that would be, Josh. That and for those that you don't know what Josh and I are talking about and what I'm getting excited about is there are alternative views and perspectives. And one of those is that Lilith was the first woman versus Eve. And the reason we have the Eve story is because of the patriarchal influence that the men, and please don't take this as an attack on men. It is not.
It's
It's
really not.
not. Is it, Josh? It's not.
It's look, you both it like both get to lead. My Jessica and I, like our relationship, we both lead. We just lead. We're strong, and the
Yes.
other, yeah, you're right about that. And then
Yes.
it's her that's usually right all the time. I'm usually following her lead, but
Balance.
really
The balance of
gotta
masculine
have
and
it.
feminine is
But
so
I want to say this though, women have been held down for a long time,
important.
and system is rigged against women. It's always been this way. Lilith really pissed somebody off. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, because since history, their power has been erased, and so that's a real issue. But
It is.
women, with this change with technology, women, I don't care if you've stayed home and nursed your entire child's life, like all 18 years, you just nursed for 18 years. Guess what? Really, I know it sounds crazy, but that could be a business, not milking other children's
Absolutely.
babies,
Because
but
there's
there's
wisdom
stories there's
in that
wisdom,
child.
there's
Yes.
there's books, there's courses, there's
Yes.
and you're not going to have 100 million people following you, but you may
But the
have
people that
1,000
matter
people
will follow you.
that really love you and they're part of your tribe, and your job is to lead that tribe. That's the world we're going into now.
And your
exciting.
impact on those 1,000 people could be
Right.
globe changing. So that one
Okay.
person in your tribe who you lead or influence may have a solution to a phenomenal issue that we face. Because
Absolutely.
my belief is that the answers for everything that we face are out there. We just need people to hear from those who might have different ideas. Yeah?
We need to unlearn a lot of crap that we
Oh,
think is our
God.
belief system that
Yeah.
we've just been told.
Yeah.
It's about anything too. And it's what comes out of your TV. Again, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Listen, like, because God speaks pretty clearly when you shut up and listen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the truth. That's the truth. That will lead you to every truth that you want to have. I'm reading the Bible. What was started to awaken me big time and snap me out of this really damaging mindset. No offense to any of the former people that followed me because of my relationship with Jesus. But when I'm reading Genesis 6 and I'm hearing screaming between my ears, the brain is the Garden of Eden. Huh? The brain is the Garden of Eden. I'm like, I've heard that before, but come on. No, it's not. God, if this is real, show me. Then all of a sudden I get this like, where to go look. Look, sure enough, start connecting the dots, start doing the research.
Huh.
That led me to start looking into the history of the text a little bit more and learning about the
Isn't it
alteration, learning about the
fascinating?
changing words, removing sentences,
Isn't it fascinating?
books. It's heartbreaking because now what's happening is people choose what
Entrenched.
they like out of it and weaponize it, or they'll use it to say, God's going to give you all the riches in the world. Let me just tell you, getting all the riches in the world when you haven't done anything to deserve it is the greatest curse. It's a curse on your head. That is a curse on your head to get $1 million and you don't know how to handle it. I know because that's how I ended up homeless the first time.
Yeah.
I was an asshole with the money. And when you give a young punk $1 million and he already has a cocaine and meth habit, not a good recipe. Not a good recipe. This is why I'm thankful that God made it so tough because the first time I lost everything, I got it all back like quick. I was so good at making money, like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
God, I'm pretty confident that God put me in the desert for a long time. And this has sucked. I've learned my lessons too. And now I'm seeing the fruit of the work, but it has been tough. But
Mm.
I'm sorry, I want to go back to this because I feel like I'm not getting to finish this part
Yes.
with the truth. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, but your truth matters. It may not matter to the person next to you, but
But
it's
it'll
important
matter
for
to
you
someone.
because the truth, if they say the truth will set you free, and there's so many layers to that statement, but you know
Oh,
who it really sets free? It sets you. Because
yeah.
here's the thing, I can say to you, and with a straight face, that I cheated on every partner I've ever had. I was an abuser. I had HIV. I overdosed 6 times. I was a deadbeat father, a piece of shit father, a really bad husband, a really bad boyfriend, a really bad, awful son. I was late, an hour late to my dad's funeral because I was having cocaine because I was doing an orgy and cocaine all the night before. And I was awful, was the worst. But if I can say this comfortably without any fear of anyone taking anything from me, who's free and who's not? I'm not a victim. I'm free and I'm a victory. Like my past sucks. Yeah, it does. But I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not embarrassed by it anymore because
Gosh,
of how I've gotten to use it now.
part of that piece of what you're saying is largely around self love and self compassion. You cannot have compassion and love for the world and people around you if you don't have love and compassion for yourself. You need to forgive yourself. You need to be compassionate with yourself. And I understand those voices in your head that just are
It's just scary.
relentlessly uh, being hard on you. From my own perspective, those voices way outweigh anything that anyone could ever say to me. However, I had to learn self-love and self-compassion, and once I did that, and once it's an ongoing it's an ongoing process, but it gives you the ability to see things differently, and it changes the way that you interact with the world, because before you were constantly worried about what people thought and said and did in relation to you. The change in perspective is now they can still say that, but it no longer impacts your equilibrium, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. And it's fun now because again, when you get I was a bad liar. So
Uh-huh.
getting comfortable with the truth it took some work. That's why I keep emphasizing this because I know a lot of people, like especially guys that have been molested,
Yes.
like they have tendencies maybe to go recreate what happened or
Yeah.
become extremely homophobic, whatever. Either one of those emotions are not necessarily healthy.
Mm.
But being able to just talk about it and I'm so grateful that I can talk to my wife about my
Everything.
desires and the things that come up for me. It's normal,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not awkward. Where before it was so painful to have to talk about.
Yeah.
Like I had to do mental gymnastics
Yeah.
just to try to bring it up because ultimately my heart and my soul wanted to talk to somebody. I became best friends with hookers because that was the safest place for me to talk. Here, let me buy cocaine and sex from you. And also your ear, just so you be my therapist, so I can talk to you about fucking penis. Like
Mhm.
it's just hard to like, but guys are afraid to talk about that because oh, you're a faggot and whatever they're gonna say. Here's the
Yes.
thing. You get to this place when people say it to you, you just laugh and go, I've called myself way worse, I promise. And I actually thought God wanted to kill me because of that. But now that I know God doesn't want to kill me because I also am attracted to men,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can really say to me.
Yeah, exactly. Josh, what happened for you 7 years ago that changed the trajectory and has brought you to this place now where we can talk about your amazing media in the box? Just there was a key point, wasn't it?
Yeah, jail in the psych ward. When I got out, so I spent facing 5 years, had that
Yes.
supernatural experience.
Yes.
But here's the crazy thing. I still thought I had 5 years, but I was like, listen, even behind bars, I'll serve you. I'm committed to this.
Mm.
Because what I didn't tell you was this. I always prayed, like, God, all I want to do is travel the world and serve and help you. I want to make enough money that I don't have to worry about money. I'm just going to go
Mhm.
help people. That's
Yeah.
all I want to do. This is when I'm,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
meth addict, a coke addict, because that felt good to my heart. And
Yeah.
like, that's the only thing that ever felt good to me. The only reason I knew I was somewhat human is because I sincerely love to help people.
Yeah.
I am the world's mayor because it's about elevating everyone I work with. It's a mindset. It's not an ego thing. Although I am going to run for mayor and I will be called the world's mayor by the United Nations. That's going to happen. But it's a mindset about elevating the people I'm around, elevating them to their gifts and to their purpose, because that's what we're here to do as humans, is to elevate other people, to love and to be there. And I don't even know what we're talking about now. So never, sorry.
I wanted to bring you back to one of your
It's, oh, my train story. Hold on. I got out of jail 5 days later, and
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, I'm on the streets of downtown LA. And I'm going,
Right.
this promise was a lot easier to make when I was in jail, because now I'm in LA. I'm by all the sex clubs. I know my dealer where he lives. I know, like, I'm now back in the jungle.
Yeah.
But my commitment to God and changing my life was real, or I wouldn't still be on this path. So anyway, now your question.
Yeah. So from that point to now, where you have the book and the films and the media packages, did it all come to you as a progression? So I wanted to talk about Media in a Box and what that does and what your vision behind that particular product.
Which question do you want to answer first? Media company involved? Because let me tell you, it took 7 years to develop.
Yes.
And here's the funny thing is, when I want to, for those that get downloads and visions and inspirations where they go out and pursue it, I'm sure you can relate by now that you know that it doesn't happen the next day. Like, but when you get the vision, you think, oh, I'm going to have this next week.
That happens.
It
Yeah.
doesn't, you
Yeah.
don't want it next week, because
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of that is that you are not prepared to deal with a lot of the crap. So So Media Company in a Box came through getting kicked off of multiple platforms, including Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. It came off of, I was vice president of a TV network and
Yeah.
got kicked off that network because of the content that I was creating,
Ah.
telling people very painful truth. Even talking about organ harvesting got me in trouble. Anyway, yeah, because you're exposing a certain government, and
Explain things if we don't, or change things rather, if we don't talk about them.
Media
Like,
Company in a Box. That's what. Uh,
exactly.
Got to
Exactly.
have free. You have to have a free not a free platform. You have to have a platform that you can speak freely on.
Correct.
But that said, so it started literally with a vision, and but this vision took place when I'm on set. I was in the Super Bowl commercial. I'm bald again. I forgot I don't have hair anymore. So I looked like this when I was acting in LA.
Yeah.
And I was Brian Urlacher, who was a Hall of Fame NFL football player. I was his body double for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. And which is funny because when I met him, he actually had hair. Anyway, there was a funny reaction there. But I was on set and I was looking around. I was looking at craft services and all the different trucks that were around. And I said to myself, all of these trucks, these businesses are here to support this commercial.
Uh-huh.
So this commercial is the center of the universe for all of these companies.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I make myself the center of the universe?
Mm-hmm.
That question is what made me realize that everything that I had been doing when I'm scrapping to pursue my dreams, learning how to build websites, learning how to do content marketing, because I taught myself. I was
Yeah.
homeless. Like, I just got done being homeless. The job I had wasn't paying enough. I had to find a way to make extra money. And by the way, I learned this scam that the multi-level marketing people use, that the leaders, how they get there. I learned the trick. Learning that trick is what made me go, I'm going to go learn how to build websites and learn how to do this the right way and how to build these platforms.
Yeah.
So I self-taught. So I learn all that. I learning videos. I don't know how to do all this, but it started literally with learning how to build a website.
So,
But
yeah.
then I'm doing the Facebook lives. I'm getting to speak. Oh, on going on set. I
Yes.
realized all these things that I learned how to do, producing events. My first event I produced, how that happened, I kid you not, that day I was going to kill myself. This was when I was homeless. I was going to kill myself. I had a little bit of cash. I was going to my dealer's house. I was going to buy this certain meth that he had, and I
Yeah.
was going to shoot it, all of it, and I was going to have sex and just die having sex. That's what was my plan.
Okay.
My phone rings. I'll never forget Annette for doing this. I can't wait to see her when I go back to LA because she saved my life. I don't know if she actually knows this story yet, even though I tell a lot. She calls and goes, "Hey, can you get us some some products for these gift bags?" And I'm like, "Well,
Yes.
yeah, I can probably do that. What's it for?" And she said, "It's for the ESPYs." I'm like, "The ESPY Awards?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, let me make a phone call." So I make a phone call. I get 350 different skincare products that are all like over $200 a piece. It's like really high grade stuff.
Yes.
So I get there. So I get to go to this gifting suite at the ESPY for the ESPY Awards. I meet all these celebrities, meet all the producers. I'm there representing these products, but I start to notice that some of the things were going wrong. And so I just instinctively jumped in and started fixing it.
This is it. Uh-huh.
That gave me an opportunity to produce another event. Well, producing that event is what got me on my first movie set. That
Oh,
movie set was just there to bring the energy. This story is way cooler than I have time to tell. But that I'm just there to bring the energy.
yeah.
And then when I had long hair at the time, when
Yeah.
they make this invitation,
Yeah.
then show up on set and I'm bald. And he goes, "Hey, you look scary. Can you play this part?" This is 7 years ago. I'm like, "Sure, I'm playing this part." So I get, and all I am is a bodyguard. I pat somebody down. I'd watched professional wrestling. I knew how to mock it up. So they liked it a lot. And then they go, "Hey, do you have a suit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a suit. You saw me in a suit when we first met." He goes, "Oh yeah. Can you wear that suit to play another scene?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So different movie, different scene. This time I'm a bodyguard and I'm just escorting the guy. I don't have lines. And I'm like, "This makes no sense. I'm this guy. I'm dressed up in a nice suit. I'm walking this guy through this mansion, introducing him to the mob boss. Why would I call him Mr. Dorado? That's his name. That's what I call him, is Mr. Dorado." So I gave myself lines. They kept it. So that led to more acting, more producing. Anyway, all of these things, but my dream is to be a talk show host. All I
Yeah.
ever wanted to do was be the next Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony, Oprah, Don Imus. Like that's all I ever wanted to do. And to pitch products on QVC. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I started doing that because of technology, Facebook Live. At
Yeah.
Facebook Live, I learned how to multi-purpose. I learned how to turn it into a podcast.
Yes.
Then learned how to get on streaming TV networks.
Yes.
That led to being a producer for a TV network, which then led to me becoming vice president of a TV network. I
And then
learned all of these things. I had my own network as a nonprofit where we just gave away everything. That's not a good business model, by the way. But then after getting kicked off all the networks, I realized something. But I can't tell you because it would probably be disrespectful on your platform.
fair enough.
And I'm not going to say it out of respect because this is your business.
Mm.
And I think having a network is awesome. For independents and individuals, I believe in a different way. And that's what Media Company in a Box is. Media
Yes.
Company in a Box will take any individual, even if you don't have a business, and give you at least 7 new revenue, obviously new revenue streams, but new revenue streams. You have an existing business, I can walk in and probably within 10 minutes give you 7 new revenue streams. I would do that in the consulting call. You just won't know how to do it without me. But it's a part technology, part service. And what it is it literally makes you a one-person media organization. I have 2 different websites that are 2 different examples of it, but it's evolving. I
Yeah.
just became, and I'm so honored because I told you about the movie 7 years ago.
Yes.
Years later, that same film company that was making their first film, that's why they let me get away with all that stuff,
Yeah.
has now made 12 movies. They got 5 more being made, and I'm now the director of new media for this film organization, and we are building it into it's called Media Company in a Box team.
Yes.
So it's what I do for the team version of Media Company in a Box, I'm doing for a film studio. And I'm so excited because I love making movies. And here's the cool part. These movies are not about shoot 'em up. It's not about superheroes. It's about real people doing real things for real people. Oh, it's about real overcoming. Every story is true. Every story it's geared toward benefiting and helping the youth. That is our niche. That's what we focus on. Because here's the thing. Us older people, I'm a little bit older than you, but us older people, like, look, we have to be there for the youth, because without the youth, this planet, like, we gotta be better for them than we've been, because right now the youth is being neglected and rotted away. They're getting more immersed into technology, and I'm a technology guy. I love technology, but the soul is being taken away with this for some of the kids that have just grown up with this.
Yeah.
And so we want to be there. We want to speak to them and show them that they can make their dreams come true. And by using Media Company in a Box and the buy one, give one program, which allows anybody to come buy it. But guess what you get to do? You get to give it the same service that I'm doing for you. You get to give it to someone else. And I'm going to beg you to give it to a prisoner. I'm going to beg you to give it to a teenager. I'm going to beg you to give it to an inner city kid, somebody in a third world country, someone else on the street. I don't care if they're willing to work. I'm willing to teach them, because media is the way. And I don't care what you've been through in your life. I don't care what your education is. I can teach you this. I can teach you media. I can teach you how to take all of your pain and suffering
and put it
and make something out of it. Jessica and I did not have money when we made our movie that's won 11 film festivals.
Yes.
We didn't have money when we became an international bestseller in 4 countries. We didn't have, so it can be done. Your dreams get to come true. If you've got this thought and dream in your head, in your heart, that's not God mocking you. That's God saying to you, this is what I have for you. Choose this path. And you can't get on that path without the truth.
Absolutely. Josh, I've so enjoyed chatting to you today. And I know all the things that I wanted to chat to you, but I just want to leave the audience with one thing. Connect with Joshua. Jump onto his website. You will see all of the amazing things that he does. And he has an amazing capacity for help. So even if it just starts with a conversation, there will be something that Josh has in his wisdom bank that will help you. Yeah. And I am completely in agreement with Josh about the way of the future, which is why I have my own network, because I want to do things differently. I want to show people things and ways to do things differently that is not reliant on what we thought we knew on traditional media. Traditional media will fall away. It is corrupt. It is not good for the human soul. It is negative. We need the world to be filled with independent media organizations, exactly as Josh is teaching and will teach you. So please, audience, if you do one thing today, if something sparks in your heart, I encourage you to jump on a call with Josh and see how to do it. Josh.
I am not always this high energy either.
Really?
Okay, never mind. I am. Never mind. You got me excited. The first question just lit me up. I'm sorry. You just spiked my adrenaline and set me off to the races. I'm sorry about that.
It's my job. I feel that's my job. That's my job. And so many of your life lessons and so many of the things that you've experienced are similar in my own life, that it's a wonderful conversation, Josh, a wonderful conversation. And we must get off this show now. Otherwise my team will be going, you've talked too much. So wonderful people.
Thank you, team.
Everyday Business Show. You've been listening to the amazing Joshua T. Bergman. Wherever you're watching this interview, I encourage you to jump onto the show notes and you will see how to connect with Josh. He is a wonderful human being who has been through an incredible amount of things and stuff, but that makes it all the better. And that makes his heart all the more pure for helping people across the globe. Thank you for listening today to the Everyday Business Show. Joshua, thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Thank you.
We will see you all next week. Bye for now. Of shows with business owners that puts them in front of a global audience. And in behind those shows is a whole range of things, from digital magazines to social media to blogging to email to lead generation, just a whole range of things.